One Piece chapter 879. Kind of crazy that One Piece is gonna hit 900 chapters in like half a year's time, you know, 20 years of greatness. Definitely gotta give Oda his props. But first things first, this chapter was amazing. Something we kind of all expected when it came down to, you know, the fight between Luffy and Katakuri, which was dope, by the way. But before that, we have to backtrack to the start of the chapter. Now, obviously, after Pedro's death, everyone that escaped is pretty much reflecting on the fact that Pedro sacrificed himself for them to escape and how useless they were at that moment. Even Brook said himself that if only they were stronger, they might have saved Pedro. Again, hopefully this isn't like a pal situation where Pedro might still be alive. But you know, he could still be alive. And the fact that if Pedro stays dead, I feel like this pushes the crew to become even stronger and it builds their character even more. And at this point, I think Kara definitely joins the crew. And Jinbei speaking facts like always. Again, Jinbei is the perfect advisor for Luffy and is definitely a great addition to the crew. I can already see him having epic moments in the future and coming in clutch for the Straw Hats and saving the day. So I don't know why people don't want him to be in the crew. This guy is just perfect in every aspect. Now, even though they burst out of there and, you know, covered like several miles, Big Mom is still behind them. And at first glance, I thought she was actually walking on seawater, which I thought confirmed my theory about, you know, Big Mom controlled seawater. But apparently it was Sparrow using his candy underwater to keep Big Mom atop, which, you know, enables her to keep chasing the Straw Hats and walking on waves and all that stuff. And we also see that Sparrow molded his new arm out of candy, but obviously he's still pissed about the whole situation with Pedro and he wants to get revenge on the Straw Hats. Again, that 700 million berry bounty wasn't for show. He's actually very versatile with his ability. And we finally get a lead on Pound's whereabouts ever since we last saw him in chapter, what was it, 844, 845, just before the Enraged army. And we were all clueless as to where this man went, but it seems like he dipped when the Enraged army happened. So Oda bringing him back in the story again means he will have a role to play. Well, we got some stuff with Sanji, again putting flip-flopping like crazy, but it's good to see that her personality is actually a lot more clear now. But I do think Sanji will get a fight when they arrive on, I think it's a Coco Island, probably against Daifuku or Oven, or maybe one of the commanders that like stationed there. And hopefully we get something good with Sanji, because we're getting something good with Luffy and this is supposed to be Sanji's arc. So yeah, now on to the good stuff. Katakuri versus Luffy. If you read this chapter, you know that Luffy gets absolutely wrecked by Katakuri in every aspect of combat, speed, power, everything. Again, this chapter also confirms that Katakuri is the strongest out of the three sweet commanders. For those that didn't believe so, I've been hearing things that, you know, Cracker was stronger than Katakuri, you know, crazy stuff like that. And just looking at the fight, Luffy has no chance against any commander in his base form, gear 2nd, gear 3rd. It all comes down to gear 4th, and that's just a big gap for Luffy. You know, gear 2nd and gear 3rd aren't really comparable to gear 4th, and I think that's something Luffy needs to work on. And the fact that Katakuri's Devil Fruit is so similar to Luffy, but he has extra properties that Rubber doesn't have, makes him even worse. But we also know, you know, Rubber also has properties that Mochi doesn't have. So, you know, it's kind of both side 50-50. We're gonna see some new stuff with Luffy eventually. But yeah, even Katakuri states that Luffy is inferior in every aspect. Again, he washed Luffy in this fight. Now, Luffy tried using speed against him. Now, even though Luffy thought he dodged the attack, Katakuri saw the future and kicks Luffy in the face. That panel was amazing, yo. I'm just starting to like Katakuri even more after this chapter, because like everything he just did in this chapter was crazy. Again, we have to remember that it's not like the Tea Party where, you know, so much was going on. People was doing that, people was doing this. In a 1v1, he only has to focus on one person, which makes that ability to see in the future insanely overpowered, and that's going to be hard for Luffy to counter. We also see that Luffy does an elephant gun. Katakuri counters it with a similar attack, but a way bigger. And it seems like Katakuri is not even using his own skill set, his own. We didn't see the trident, we didn't see anything new from Katakuri. He's using Luffy's move that he saw at that moment and making it more efficient. That's to show like this guy has crazy control over his Devil Fruit. Now that's crazy. They had a clash of hockey with the elephant gun, but ultimately Katakuri wins with a bigger elephant gun. Again, this man is doing crazy things with his ability. Again, Devil Fruit wise, Katakuri seems to be above several levels above Luffy, and I hope Luffy learns something from this man, because Luffy is someone that kind of like transcends in a fight. He sees something, he's gonna copy it. We saw that with Soru, Bluno, you know, Luffy's a prodigy when it comes to fights, so he's definitely going to learn something from Katakuri. Now obviously this isn't the end. A lot of people think it's the end between Luffy and Katakuri. No, it's not the end, because Luffy hasn't gone gear for it yet, and Luffy usually always has a comeback when he takes a massive beating. We've seen that so many times. Crocodile, Rob Lucci, he will come back. It's literally just like his devil fruit. He bounces off everything. Again, I don't think Bound Man Gear 4 will be capable of taking on Katakuri. Tank Man will not do it either. It has to be something new, which should happen in the next chapter. Again, we know Luffy spent like an extra 6 months without Rayleigh, and we know when Rayleigh was there, he actually developed King Kong gun, because you know we saw the flashback. So during that 6 months, what did Luffy learn? And hopefully next chapter he shows something new, maybe towards, I don't think it's going to be awakening, maybe a new form of Gear 4 or something related to his King's Haki, because we need to find something out about King's Haki eventually, sooner or later. And yes, there is no break next week, so we are good. But overall, this chapter was a great chapter. 9 out of 10 for me. I think everybody had the same score. Totally what I expected, because we all know Katakuri was gonna wash Luffy in this chapter, because like this man 1 billion berry bounty, he seems to be unfazed by every attack Luffy did in the previous chapters. But we all know Luffy will get back up and will have to play with bigger cards. But anyways guys, it is Pharaoh, and I will see you guys later. Peace.